Hey, you guys. I know that I am not Julie. And you may have heard her telling you last week that she had a special guest coming on for Dharma Talk Tuesday, and that's me. So I'm super excited that Julie invited me to come on to talk to you guys today. And I'm super excited to be talking about, those moments that if you've ever had those experiences where it feels like you're hearing crickets and you're spending this time creating content on Facebook, or you have a Facebook group and you're putting content out there and you're not necessarily getting the response that you're looking for, or it feels like you're hearing crickets. That's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. So let me know who's coming on so I get to see where you guys are coming in from so I can say hello. And if we haven't met before, my name's Christina Jandelli. Julie's a dear friend of mine. In fact, we've just spent the last few days together at the Zone event, which has been amazing. And she's asked me to come on to serve you guys today and support you in talking about social media and talking about creating content that creates raving fans and excitement with your content. And that's what we're diving into today. So let me know where you guys are coming in from. Let me know who's on so I can say hello. And if you're watching the replay, go ahead and put #replay. So if we haven't met before, my name is Christina Jandelli. I'm known by many as the go-to expert for Facebook groups. And over the last few years, I've used my free Facebook group to build a multi-six-figure business, and now I get to help others do the same. And I don't know about you, but when I first got started with my business, I was spending a lot of time on things that seemed to be taking a heck of a lot of time. And I always felt like when I was putting something out there, when I was posting on social media, that I didn't necessarily know where I was leading people. I didn't really necessarily know where I was taking people, like where we were headed. And when I was engaging with my email list, I would send out an email and I'd wait to get a response back. And if people didn't respond or they didn't say something, I always felt like I was having this one-sided conversation. And I really craved having more connection. I really craved having the opportunity to see my people and speak to my people and have the opportunity to be able to get to know them. And I really felt like I was missing this piece. And I didn't really know how to master that with my email list. I thought, how can I create relationships, more deeply connected relationships with my audience, and have a two-way conversation, have two-way interaction and create intimacy? And I don't know if you started to notice, but there's a huge shift in the online coaching, online education space. We are massively moving towards more deeply connected relationships, more authenticity, more realness, right? We don't want the picture perfect pictures that are posted. We want like real authenticity. What's really going on, with an individual. We don't want, just the highlight reel of everything that's working. We want like the whole story. And as the industry is starting to shift now, as things are starting to move, there's never been a better opportunity to get into having an online community, creating that connection with your audience, and Facebook groups are hands down the number one place to do that. But we're not just here talking about Facebook groups, although that is a topic that creating that community. I also want to share with you guys, for those of you guys that don't have Facebook group and you're using social media and you're using Facebook for engaging with your audience, I want to talk about, if you're hearing crickets on your social media posts, like, why is that? And I'm curious if any of you guys have, if you guys didn't have any feedback, if you've had that experience where you feel like you pour your heart and soul into something and you're sharing something, and then you're kind of waiting for a response, and maybe you didn't get the response that you're looking for. Maybe you didn't hear, you get the feedback that you were looking for. Or maybe you've been serving your audience, and by the time that you may lead them to some paid program or lead them to go deeper with you through your programs and services, it's like radio silence. It's quiet. Like, where'd everyone go, right? Have you guys had those experiences? So I have. I definitely have. I have made every mistake in the book of things not working. And it's really helped me figure out what I need to do in order to create that level of engagement. And not just engagement, because yes, that feels good. Right? We want to know that people are watching, people are consuming, that you're making a bigger difference in people's lives. But we also want to, you're also in business, right? You're also here to lead people down the path, and you want to make a bigger difference for them. And I know that if you're in Jilly's community, you care deeply about other people. You care deeply about serving other people. So I want to share with you, we're just going to talk about like some of the biggest mistakes, some of the big mistakes that people make when it comes to social media content that has it quiet, like dead, where people are not tuning in, people are not responding, people are not engaging. So let's talk about number one. The number one mistake that people make when they're creating social media content, and I was kind of alluding to this before, especially as the industry is shifting, is trying to be perfect, right? Because, it's easy sometimes to think when we're, maybe not feeling great or something's not working or things might not be going as planned, we might want to think that people want to see a front of it all being perfect, or that somehow we're going to be judged by not being perfect, not having it all together. But people crave authenticity. And I ever want you to think, because you ever had this experience where someone had like everything together, like everything was working for them. They had it all together. They got it all figured out. Let me know where you guys are coming in from. I'd love to see it. It's always fun to see what part of the world you guys are from. And, you see people and they have it all figured out. And it's like the person that you love to hate, sometimes thinking like, how come it seems so easy for them? How come they've got this all figured out? How come they've got all of this together, right? And what happens is, if this is someone that, when we appear to be perfect, we appear to have it all figured out, people start thinking that, well, it's easy for them, but not for me. You see, their transformational story, they had more time, they had more resources, they had more money, they had, whatever that dialogue is. And when you show up and try and be perfect and have it all together, your ideal clients are talking themselves out of thinking that you're at another level than them. And that creates disconnection, and it absolutely shows up with a drop of your engagement. Because rather than being there with your people and serving your people and supporting your people, it's creating a disconnection with them. So one of the biggest mistakes I see where there's a lack of engagement is trying to be perfect, right? Trying to be perfect. Another one is being perfect. Another one that I see coming up, and did you guys know, it was about 6 months ago, Facebook announced that they didn't want people to be, that they were shifting the way that they were doing things, that they didn't want people promoting what we call bait content. Meaning if you post something and you're telling someone, comment, like, share. You may have noticed that Instagram is testing and moving forward with removing likes. They don't want it to be a popularity contest. They want it to be real, authentic relationships. And Facebook is moving to that direction where they're going to be starting testing as well, where they're actually going to be removing likes. Because someone can pay for likes, someone can, have from the outside looking in, and what they want is deeper connection, real, true, authentic relationships where people are feeling connected. And so about 6 months ago, Facebook changed the game. As you know, algorithms are changing and things are happening. So using words like, like this, comment on this, share like this. And, I shouldn't be actually saying this in the video because they do pick up on voice and video as well. It actually it shrinks your reach. So, I don't need to tell you that you already know that when you do a Facebook post, not all your friends see it, right? When you do a Facebook post on your business page, not everyone sees it. The people that are the most engaged with your content it'll show up in their newsfeed. So if you are using those words, then you're actually being penalized by Facebook, and they're not showing it to as many people. So you get to get creative, right? So rather than saying, comment, you can say drop an emoji below. Earlier on I was saying, let me know where you guys are coming in from. Right, go ahead and share and let me know where you guys are coming in from. What part of the world are you from? So you get to have the opportunity to ask questions without directing people to create sort of what Facebook calls this bait engagement. So like, comment, share, and again, I probably shouldn't be repeating these. I should be spelling them out for you because it will impact reach. It is something that impacts, and something that's so simple to shift, but it's easy that we get in the habit of creating this content and then we just kind of go down along that path and forget. And I often forget myself too. So number one mistake that causes a lack of engagement with your audience is trying to be perfect. Number two is using those words like, share, comment. It impacts that for sure. And then the third one is if you're creating a lot of how-to content. And so, as I know that if you're in Julie's community, you've got a big heart. And you want to make a big difference in other people's lives. You want to serve people. You want to make a bigger difference for them. And because of that, you want to pour out from you as much as you can to support them. You want to pour out as much as you can to serve those people to make a bigger difference for them. Am I right? Do you feel that way? Do you want to make that bigger impact and make a bigger difference for people's lives? And if that's you, great. But what happens is when you're coming from this place of wanting to serve and wanting to be generous and wanting to give and wanting to make a bigger difference for your people, sometimes you can get caught up thinking that you can just take like the thinking in your mind and take this knowledge that you have and transplant it to someone else, that you're going to let them see it from a new perspective. So what do? We create content that is 3 steps to XYZ, or the 3 keys to blank, or, when you're creating content around that, what happens is when you're giving someone exact steps to do, you're not really directing them. First off, you're not evoking desire for them to move towards your paid products and programs, right? Because it's giving them somewhat of a Band-Aid solution. I'm not saying there's not a space for this, because there absolutely is. If you're running a webinar, you're wondering a training, absolutely. But you want to minimize what you're doing with this. And what your people don't want, they don't want boatloads of information, right? Am I right? Think about something that's important to you right now that you would love to have, right? That you would love to have, that would be like a dream come true. Whatever that might be for you, right? Like maybe it's a 6-figure year. Maybe it's maybe it's having a baby. Maybe it's losing those last 5 pounds. Whatever that is for you, just think of one thing that's sort of top of mind that you would love to have. Now, what would you choose? Would you choose like the magic pill solution that would give you the outcome? And I know we don't have magic pill solutions, but let's just imagine for a moment. Play with me for a minute, okay? If you had a magic pill solution, would you choose to take that, or would you choose to take a 6-month coaching package that would give you the same result? If they were both guaranteed to get you the same result, which would you choose? Which one would you guys choose? Chances are you would choose the magic pill. If you knew hands down you would get the same result, right? So it's not, when we're creating how-to content, we're overwhelming people with information. We're overwhelming them with things to do. We're giving them a whole bunch of more steps where they don't know where to fit it in. And so a big, challenges that happen with entrepreneurs is sometimes is doing a strategy in the wrong order or a step in the wrong order, and then it doesn't work, right? Because there's a certain time and place for things to come together in order to get a result, right? Things need to happen in a certain order. So if you're providing, let's say I was doing a content, and let's say I did, 3 steps to boost engagement in your Facebook group, right? Or since we're talking about engagement today, if I said 3 steps, yes, you would have the magic pill. If I said 3 steps to boost engagement in your Facebook group, and I gave 3 steps to boost engagement in your Facebook group, and you're like, great, I'm going to do that. These are great ideas. I'll come to that later. So I'm going to save the post. Are you going to come back to it? Probably not. Maybe. There's a few of you that might, right? But chances are you're probably not going to go back to it. How many posts do you have saved on Facebook right now? And how many have you actually gone back to? Real honest truth check here, right? Not likely, right? And then what happens is you stack all that, your ideal clients stack all this information, say like, this is great information, I'll get to it later. And before they know it, mentally, they've got all of these things that are stacking of things that they need to do that are incomplete. So what happens when people have lots to do and not enough time? They feel what? They feel overwhelmed. So your people don't want to feel more overwhelmed. They don't want a whole bunch of steps. They just want clarity as to what they need to do next that will move them forward closer to the outcome that they desire, right? They want the simplest path to be able to get there. They want clarity on how to get there. So it's not a matter of how many steps. It's about helping them create clarity, helping them uncover where are they going wrong and what do they need to be doing instead. Powerful, right? If you can gain clarity on exactly what you need to be doing in order to move forward in whatever area of your life you're feeling stuck on right now, whether it's your business, your health, your relationship, if you could gain clarity on that in a moment, how valuable would that be to you? How engaged would you be with someone when they get to open up a possibility? Think about a moment where you've had an aha moment. Think about one of those moments you've had an aha moment. And maybe you've heard something multiple times in multiple different ways, but one day someone says it to you in a way that lands. Someone says it to you one day in a way that just makes sense. And it's like, the parting of the seas, you have complete clarity. It's like, oh my gosh, I've never seen it this way. We call that an aha moment. And when you're creating how-to content, you're not creating those moments for your ideal clients. And that's what they're craving. They're craving that clarity. And if you're pumping out loads of how-to content, you're leaving your people more overwhelmed than ever with more steps of things to do, stockpiling those things that they'll never get to. Or on the flip side, you've got your action takers who are like, okay, I can get this done. I'm going to make this happen. This is going to happen. And so if you have those action takers, if you give them a Band-Aid solution, so let's say, let's say the example, let's give an example of losing weight. If I gave if we said went into talking about a workout routine, right? Giving someone a workout routine, and someone thought, okay, if I just do this workout routine, you think about all the magazine covers that's lose 3 inches off your waist, or how to tone your arms, as a you can spot train one part of your body. We won't get into that whole story, but right. So I want you to think that if you're focused on, when you're thinking about these promises, if you've got a Band-Aid solution, it's just one key area. So let's say you're talking about exercise and your niche is the health niche, and you're just talking about exercise and you give a how-to thing on a workout. Well, it's not going to help the person, it will help them in a tiny increment, but is it going to create lasting change for them? Is it going to, is giving them, a single workout going to help them break through something that's been going on? No. But what it'll do is it'll make them feel better in the moment that they're taking some step towards it, which is keeping them from making that bigger decision that they need to make. That's really going to help them have the transformation, which is going deeper with you, having the opportunity to really have your support to work through it. Does that make sense, you guys? So how-to content leaves people either overwhelmed, or they try it and they think either it's something that worked for them and they're like, great, okay, it worked, thank you, right? I'm good now, I'm set. But we all know, just because you have one little win, it's a long road to really get a full transformation, right? There's a long road to be able to get the outcome that you want, and it may be one little piece, but then some people are like, I'm good, I don't need anything else, I'm set, thank you, right? There's that group of people for the action takers, and the other group of people for the action takers on the flip side are thinking, so they're good, they're set. The other people are they try it, but they tried it at the wrong point in time and it doesn't work. And then what happens is they lose trust with you. What happens is they no longer trust your process or trust you to be the person that can serve them. So how-to content is not only killing your engagement, but how-to content is costing you the opportunity to work more deeply with your ideal clients. Is this making sense, you guys? You guys are quiet. So let me know. Jody says you're watching from the Marriott, hanging out with the pool after the Zone event, which has been fabulous. I'm at my my vacation home in Palm Springs right now, just up the street from the Marriott. So I'm actually from Vancouver based in British Columbia, but it's freezing in the winter and it's rainy. So Palm Springs is like my go-to place for heating it up and getting into a warmer climate, and it's not that far. It's like a skip and a jump away for a short flight, so it's nice and easy to be able to get here. So let me know if this is making sense. Let me know if you've got some questions as it relates to Facebook, as it relates to engagement. And at the beginning of this conversation, we were talking about and for those of you guys just tuning in, talking about how the industry is shifting to a more connected, authentic space. People crave true connection and authenticity. And the best place to create that intimate environment is through having a community, right? It's through having a community. And the number one place to be able to create a community online that's available to us right now is through a Facebook group. It is hands down the number one space to create two-way engagement, to have two-way interaction conversations, to create a safe space for your ideal clients to open up, to ask questions, to share their experiences, to be vulnerable, for you to create that ultimate connection with them. So how many of you guys have a Facebook group? Do you guys have a Facebook group as you guys are tuning in? Let me know. I'm curious if you have a Facebook group yet or not. But when I started my free Facebook group and I started creating these two-way conversations and connection with my audience, my engagement with my audience on my email list skyrocketed. My email list grew by leaps and bounds as a result of my Facebook group. But more importantly, I really started to getting to know my audience. And sometimes in this digital space, we're, behind a phone, behind a computer, and we're not necessarily face to face with our people, right? And this beautiful thing that Julie gets to put together for doing these virtual, Dharma Talk Tuesdays for you guys, and be able to be in your feed and be there with you, which creates a level of connection. But your Facebook group is like the place to be where you're creating a community online. And when you have the opportunity to create the place to be in your niche, it gives you a level of authority. It allows you to be the leader of your space. It creates social proof, and it creates that deeper connection. So I dropped in a link, deliveryourgenius.com/Julie. If you're looking to start your free Facebook group, or you're looking to grow your free Facebook group, then go ahead and download. There's a couple of checklists that you'll get, which are the exact steps that I took in the beginning to grow my group from 0 to 2,500 members. And the best part of that, when I did that, I was so focused on service that I ended up being rewarded financially, because I was so outwardly focused with serving my ideal audience and clients within there. I was absolutely rewarded financially. In fact, when I was at that point in time in my business, I was trying to get to a 5-figure month. I was like, oh my gosh, if I could get to a 5-figure month, I'm going to be set. And I was trying, and I kept falling short. And my goodness, I don't know if you've had those experiences where you've tried to, you've set a goal and then you've fallen short from it. Well, that was like me in the beginning of my business. It was like and being an, ambitious woman, it was frustrating. It's like, why is this not working for me? And so I struggled to try and get to that first 5-figure month. But the first month that I opened my free Facebook group, I had $30,000 in cash received into my business, which blew my socks off. Like, I was totally blown away. And it came as a result of being of service for my ideal audience, really showing up to serve them in a bigger way, really showing up to want to make a bigger difference for them. And I've just been able to go on from there to be able to create, multiple six-figure business and help my clients do the same. So I want to invite you, if it's piquing your interest to create a Facebook group, or you already have one and you really want to boost its engagement and grow and gain more members, or the right members coming in, then go ahead and download. I popped the link in there for you guys so you have it. And just a quick recap as well, and what we're talking about is like the 3 things that if you're hearing crickets in your Facebook group, or you're hearing crickets on your Facebook posts, number 1, don't be perfect, right? We don't want to be perfect. Number 2 is watch the languaging that you're using. So writing, saying the word or typing the word on your content, share, like, comment, stops Facebook from pushing out your content to more people. So get creative with the languages that you're using, so that you're like, drop an emoji here, or asking a question that's expecting an answer for people to be able to share with you. And then the third piece is don't be pumping out loads of how-to content, number of steps to this, because you're overwhelming your audience when they're searching for clarity. Or for that matter, it's a Band-Aid solution. It's giving them like one little thing, and either it works for them and they're like, great, I'm good, I'm fat, or it doesn't work for them. And then what happens is they blame you, your system, your process, for it not working, and you lose credibility for them to want to do business with you, for them to think that you can help support them. And so if you just take like a little sliver of something, it's like, it's not the whole picture. It's not the whole picture. So there's a place for how-to content, for putting in a training or a webinar, but use it sparingly. Use it sparingly, knowing that you don't want to overwhelm your audience, and you don't want to give them Band-Aid solutions, and you don't want them to feel like they're set when you know that there's deeper work to do with them. So thank you guys for giving me the privilege of being on here live with you guys. I hope that you got a ton out of it. Go ahead and download the checklist, and there's a free training series that goes along with it that you can get if you're looking to grow, or create more engagement of buyers in your Facebook group. Then you've got the link there. Thank you guys. I feel honored to be in your newsfeed and being here, and I hope you guys got a ton out of this. If you've got any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My name is Christina Jen Daly, and of DeliveryYourGenius.com. All right, you guys, that's it. Bye.